Well, welcome to the etiquette seminar on how to learn skills that will help you for your lifetime on interacting with people at receptions, and I'm also going to tell you about some dining etiquettes. In the business world, when you have an interview and you are looking for a job, your social skills are being judged as well as the skills that you've accumulated here at the college in academics. So it's very important to know etiquette and work on your social skills. Most people are a little bit nervous in public and in social settings. It's not uncommon. So if you feel nervous, don't worry. Probably everybody's nervous, right? But hopefully this will help you a little bit to know about the do's and don'ts, perhaps, of interacting and give you some skills to increase your confidence. Now, posture is important, and that says something about how comfortable you are in a setting. So if you stand nice and tall, hands at the side, okay? Just try that. Breathe deeply. How's that feel? And that's kind of hard to do sometimes, especially in nerve-wracking situations. Dressing for the occasion is very important. And your invitation to come to this is very important. But when you receive an invitation to an event, okay, if it's a social event, it may say RSVP. That means please respond. That's French words, but anyway, basically in English it means please respond. There's either a phone number to call. You maybe have to do a written response. Sometimes you get an invitation with a card in it to check off if you're coming or not, so you'd send it back. Or you could do an email if it's less formal. Okay? So you do always need to respond. Even if you are not going, you need to send a response and say, I'm very sorry I cannot attend because of whatever. Okay? And thank you very much for the invitation. So RSVPing to invitations is extremely important. When you're looking for a job and you're going for an interview, obviously you're invited to come for an interview, of course you respond. Yes, you'll be there with bells on, right? Then you need to find out what the interview day is going to be like. So you need to know that it's very appropriate, business or social, to call if you have questions about the invitation. Some invitations to social events say, arrive at 5 o'clock, there'll be a reception, a dinner will follow, dress is business casual, or dress is business, or dress is black tie. Okay? If it's black tie, then you're very dressed up, and you may have gone to some occasions where it's a black tie event. So if you're going for a job interview, call the office of the company or the business. Find out what the appropriate dress would be for that day, if you don't know, if they haven't told you. For young men, you probably should wear a suit if it's a professional business, or a jacket and tie and a slacks, because you can always take off the jacket and the tie if you feel you're overdressed. So be careful about that anytime or when you're out in public, okay, I would say. So shoes, make sure you have comfortable shoes, but nicely polished shoes so that, people take in the whole picture of you. They look at what you're wearing, they look at your hair. You're just like you do. When you meet someone, your first, look at that person, you're making, assessments, okay? So just make sure you're all polished up and ready to go. And if you're going through a whole long day of interviewing, you might need a change of clothes depending on the company and all the events of the day. So you should ask also, if you're calling to find out about the interview situation, should I bring a change of clothes for the evening, if they're mentioning there's an evening event, okay? And then they can answer that. For young one, if you're wearing a suit like that, which would be very appropriate for an interview. You could, if it's a really dress occasion, you could still go to it just like that. If you wanted to, you could always dress it up with a scarf or something like that. But your jewelry, it looks very nice, so very appropriate. And you're all, so that's just some tips on dressing. Any questions about that? No? Okay, good. I want to have you think about arriving at this event. Now, you have arrived, obviously, at this event, and you're going to be leaving this room and going into the next room, where you're going to be meeting with some other people, mingling, some adults who are coming, some business owners, I believe, and they're going to, then you're going to actually be have more hors d'oeuvres. So I'd like now to show you how to balance your cup, your plate, your napkin in one hand. And I want you to come through the reception line. I'll show you, then I want you each to come through, pick it up, and then we'll talk more about how you make introductions and so forth and so on. I have a little kebab. We usually have catering. This looks nice. Do fruit kebabs, just because sometimes if you get food on a kebab, it's like, oh dear, how do I eat this? Okay? So the proper way to eat a fruit kebab is one piece at a time. And then you can just push it along with this finger. But you want to have a napkin and a plate. So when you come to the reception, just remember this isn't, if you feel awkward holding all of this in one hand, you don't have to. I'm just showing you if you want to do the whole business with the plate and the cup, you can. If you, excuse me, just want to drink something, I guess I better, then you can just drink something. So this is how you set it up. You put it on one finger, your napkin, so that you can, if you pick up something that, and you need to wipe your hands off, that's all set, right? Then you put the plate like this, the cup like this, and then you help yourself to whatever's being poured. If they're pouring drinks, then you could then pick up the drink and put it on the plate. You want everything in your left hand because you want your right hand free for shaking hands with people. Okay? So, and then you pick up the fruit kebab. And usually when you're at a reception, when you go into the next reception, people will be chatting. You're going to come into the room. People are going to be chatting, so you may not form this big line to do this. And people just go and help themselves and then come back into the conversation. And always when you're going into a room, walk in, kind of check the whole room over. Now, and just assess it. What's going on here? Who's here? Who do I know? You know, maybe people will invite you immediately into their group. Have you ever walked into a room where people are chatting in groups and you walk in and you don't know anybody? You ever had that experience? Okay. Well, the proper thing to do is, take a deep breath, look at a group, and just go join it, right? If it's a reception and it's a social event. And hopefully the people in that group will know their social skills and they'll welcome you in and they'll introduce themselves and you can introduce yourself. Or you may see someone who will introduce you to the group they're in. But it can be really awkward. So to keep from having awkward occurrences, you can help other people out. And that shows off your social skills. If you see someone who comes into a room and doesn't know anyone, then you could go over to that person and make them feel comfortable and just say, hello, I'm Diana Fisher, and I'm pleased to meet you, okay? And shake their hands. The name of the older person first, okay? And so you would say the name of the older person first, or if you're introducing, say, me to the president of the college, I don't know the president of the college, even though I might be older than he is, and I am, you might say his name first because he's more important than I am, okay? So you always think about it. When you're introducing someone, you want to say that person's name first, okay? Think about it. Just remember this with your mom and dad, say. You bring a friend home, and you're saying, Mom, I'd like you to meet my friend Sarah, okay? Or Dad, I'd like you to